Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sensitive Podcast. I am your host, Kimball, somatic leadership coach for highly sensitive and neurodivergent women in business. And today I want to come in and talk to you about the emotional roller coaster of being a business owner, and specifically the differences between supporting yourself with that emotional roller coaster with mindset work, which is, I think, kind of the typical way of doing that in the coaching industry, and somatic work, which is no surprise what I prefer. So we all know that business ownership can be emotional roller coaster. And as I said, I want to talk about why I believe that somatics can be a much more effective way to help you learn how to support yourself with that roller coaster instead of mindset work, and give you really specific and clear examples of what the differences in those two ways of supporting yourself may look like in your business, and really illustrate why I believe somatics is way more effective. So, let's say, for example, you want to grow your business, and that in order to do that, you need to become more visible on social media. I know this is something that many of us can relate to, but let's say when you do that, when you go to grow your business on social media, you notice your throat closing down when you go to get on camera, or you notice yourself feeling this anxious knot in your stomach when a post of yours actually starts to gain traction and get a lot of attention. And maybe it even ends up keeping you up at night because you notice so much charge in your nervous system. Or perhaps you notice a tightness in your stomach when you go to pitch your services to someone. You break out in a full on sweat. So you end up not telling people a lot about what you do and the brilliance of what you have to offer because it produces so much anxiety and fear of rejection for you. Or perhaps you feel like you may throw up when you have to tell a contractor or an employee of yours that you actually aren't satisfied with the work that they turned into you and that they need to do it over again and make some tweaks. So, whatever this emotional roller coaster, quote unquote, looks like for you, these are some common examples that I want to share of what I want to talk about today. So, um, these are just part of the gig. I really wanna normalize this, that we're gonna have different emotional roller coaster moments at different stages in our business, but it's not something that ever really, quote, unquote, "goes away." It's just going to shift and be different ones throughout the lifespan of our business. So it's super important for us to learn how to effectively support ourselves with the emotions and the activations that come up for us as being a as just a natural byproduct of being a business owner. So I think a lot of times when we're earlier in business, we really can have this view of like, oh, once I reach six figures, for some reason that's the magical number that people talk about all the time. I don't know why. Um, Once I reach six figures, or once I reach this point, I know I won't have these struggles anymore. And I'm here to say that that is not the case whatsoever. Again, it's just something that shifts and changes depending on what place you're at in your business. And it's something that the sooner you can learn how to support yourself with the emotional roller coaster and the activations that come up for you, the better, because it's something that will always be there. Um, but I want to give an example of, people trying to support themselves through mindset work with this emotional roller coaster and what that may look like. So imagine giving yourself the reframe when somebody unsubscribes or unfollows you based on what you shared. That's actually a positive realignment for you and for them, which I wholeheartedly believe, by the way. And I think there is so much truth in that. Of course, it is so helpful to really give ourselves more psychological flexibility, which is really what this is aiming for, and more expansive ways of thinking. Again, there's so much value in that. And also, this is a problem if I have here are some of the problems with solely utilizing mindset work. This is what I really think the underlying problem with it is that mindset work is fundamentally rooted in changing how you are thinking or feeling. I want to say that again because I think it's so important. But mindset work is rooted in fundamentally changing how you are thinking and feeling in the moment. And the base message that really is there and inherent in that is that how I'm currently thinking or feeling is actually wrong, right? Um, and there's an avoidance that's present here. There can be a bypassing, there can be a sole focus on the outcome that we want at all costs. There's this kind of message screaming from the rooftops here of like, just help me to feel and think something else so that I can get this other outcome that I want. Like, make it go away. Like, make the anxiety go away, make the fears go away, make the um, whatever it is that I'm feeling that I don't want to feel, that it feels like it's standing in the way of me and the outcome that I want, which in this case, it's, business growth. Make that go away so that I can have the outcome, right? So that really is the root of mindset work. Of course, we may not say it in those words, but I'll be curious to hear and feel free to comment if this is resonating with you with mindset work, if you have utilized that frequently in the past. Um, and as I've mentioned, instead of mindset work, I much prefer to use somatic work with my clients. And I want to explicitly state a few reasons why. Of when we use somatic work, there is an understanding that the body's responses are inherently wise, that there is a being with whatever is present, whatever emotions, whatever sensations, whatever activation is coming up, knowing that whatever is present is there for a reason and it contains answers within itself. The focus isn't on changing anything, which again is the primary focus of mindset work, as much it is being with it and learning from it and hearing the underlying message that it has for you and knowing that that underlying message is inherently wise. And that fundamental change really allows you to learn a few things that I think mindset work completely misses. And that is the underlying wisdom, as I already mentioned, that your body is responding with, and also the underlying need that is beneath the response that needs to be met in order for you to proceed forward without you feeling like you're fighting yourself constantly. So, because mindset work misses these two key pieces, the underlying wisdom and the underlying need, and just jumps straight to, I need to change this thing in order to get the outcome that I want, you're much more likely to stay stuck because knowing something cognitively doesn't actually shift anything. Understanding the underlying wisdom and understanding the underlying need is what does. The ability to be with it, to be present with it, to validate it, to understand it. These are the things that lead to shifts, and somatic work really provides those things in spades. So, let's go ahead and continue with the example of giving yourself the reframe when someone unsubscribes or unfollows you based on what you shared. That's actually a positive realignment for you and for them if you're fearing rejection and increased visibility. So, with that reframe, as I mentioned, you may cognitively know what I just shared, but it does nothing to shift the feeling of your throat closing down. It does nothing to shift the anxiety that it brings up for you in the pit of your stomach when you share. And the feelings of self sabotage will remain because they're trying to protect you from those feelings that don't feel good, right? But when we go to the body and view your body's responses as inherently wise, and we take some time to identify what sensations came up for you when you get more visible and you're fearing rejection, where they are in your body and what they're communicating to you, it almost always reveals an untended wound that's there that you may or may not been consciously aware of. Oftentimes it's this huge aha of like, wow, I can't believe that this is actually connected to this thing that I happened to me in my past that felt really unrelated and I haven't even thought of and felt insignificant even to me at the time sometimes. Um, and it also connects to that deep underlying need underneath that needs support in order for it to not be so activating. So, the best part is just as the body reveals the root, it also reveals the medicine and can clearly communicate what it needs to actually feel supported and resourced in order to move forward without this emotional roller coaster, right? So I do use mindset work and I do use cognitive work, and I do think that they can be valuable, but I do not use those things without also involving somatics and the body, because I honestly just don't think that we can afford to miss the wisdom of the body and the underlying needs that it knows and needs to have addressed in order to make more easeful progress. So, I hope this really illustrated the difference between approaching this emotional roller coaster, these activations that can come up for us that is a normal and natural part of business ownership at whatever stage of business ownership you are in. The differences between approaching that from a mindset work stance and a somatic work stance. I would love to hear how this lands for you, what this brings up for you, any questions that you have in the comments below. And if today's video spoke to you, if you have been feeling a pull to build your business in a way that actually honors your energy, your sensitivity, your values, then I'd love to support you inside my one-on-one coaching. This is for you if you are ready to say no to misaligned clients without fear, without second guessing, if you're ready to build financial sustainability in a way that actually works for you and your nervous system, if you're ready to move through fear of rejection so that you can market and sell with confidence, if you're ready to shift out of urgency and overthinking into more trust and ease, and if you're ready to finally take aligned action without slipping into burnout or endless inner work loops. You don't have to push harder or override yourself to be successful. That is a core tenet of my work. There's a different way, one that actually supports you and your body and all of your nervous system responses. And if you're ready for that shift, I'd love to walk along beside you. I have 3 open spots right now for my one-on-one coaching. Click the link in the description below to learn more and apply. And let's explore if this is the next right step for you.